We want to thank you today for joining us here on Drummer's Paradise Podcast. We truly do appreciate your support and welcome you. Please join a growing community by hitting that subscribe and notification bell. Your support truly does mean a lot to us and our community and helps it grow and bring more content like this to your viewing pleasure. Now, without further ado.
You excited, T?
I'm pretty pumped for this episode.
Today we got a beast behind the kit.
We really do.
Andrew McMullen visiting us from Toronto, Ontario today. He's been in bands such as Fairmounts, Terminal Ruts, The Mervs, and currently playing for Gomer. We're really excited to sit down with him today and get to know what fuels his passion for groove. But first, let's check out this clip of him killing the kit.
Wow, Adam, that was pretty killer, eh?
That was amazing. Great job. You killed it on the kit there.
Right on, thank you.
Propaganda.
Yeah,
so good.
That took a little while to learn.
Did it? I bet it did. Yeah. Amazing.
And thank you guys for having me on here. This is awesome. This is really cool.
Thanks for coming.
It's an honor. I was really surprised and honored that you'd think of me to come on here.
Oh, thanks.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
So, Andrew, let's get to know you a little bit better. Where is your hometown? Where did this all begin for you?
Yeah. I grew up in Sarnia, Ontario, and it began. The drums began entering my life when my brother got interested in it. Mm-hmm. So he was banging around the drums in the basement, and I was listening, and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Maybe I can convince my mother to let me try too. Mm-hmm. And so the combination of having drums at my house and then seeing some big concerts at the time, this was in the late 80s. Mm-hmm. So the first really big concert I saw was in Toronto at Maple Leaf Gardens, and it was Motley Crue with Whitesnake opening.
Oh, that's trouble right
there.
I
was in grade 7.
That's the girls.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
I was in grade 7 and just starting the drums. So it blew my mind, and I just saw this world that I had to be part of. And it challenged me in so many ways because I was kind of a shy kid, and you can't be that way when you're on the drums.
No.
You can't. You have to be confident and assertive. Mm-hmm. And it challenged me in a way that I really needed. Nice. And it gave me an identity from the very beginning. When you're in 13, 14, you don't know who you are or what you want to do.
You're figuring things out still.
You're just figuring out who you are and your identity, right? And I didn't have any idea about that, but I knew I was a drummer, and I knew I had this passion for drums from the beginning.
Right.
You felt it, and you knew that this is a journey and a path I want to go down.
Oh yeah, it was undeniable.
So as soon as you felt that, like, what would you see your pivotal influences in your life that kind of got you playing the kit and continuing to play the kit when things got a bit challenging? What were those influences?
They were my teachers, my drum teachers.
Were they?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been really lucky to have some amazing teachers from the very beginning.
Who did you study with?
There was a couple local guys in Sarnia. Greg Lee was a local drummer that played with some really good bands, and he turned me on to listening to bands like Rush and showed me some basic beats. And shortly after that, because Sarnia is right on the border with Michigan, so
yes, it is.
It was a different situation then, so we would cross over quite often. So I had a drum teacher there named Steve Adams who turned me on to rudiments and different styles of music, jazz music. Right. He really inspired me to go for it. Oh. And all the teachers that's such an important place to be when you're dealing with young people, because you say the right encouragement at the right time, and it changes people's lives. It did for me. So I got this really great encouragement from my drum teachers and my high school music teachers. Mm-hmm. They gave me a lot of encouragement, and they saw that I was very passionate about it from the very beginning. I had my path envisioned right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning.
And of course, it didn't work out that way, but
Well, that's a really interesting
it never
story.
does.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So Andrew, let's get to know a little bit. What's your current setup? What kind of drums are you playing? What kind of cymbals you got? Maybe you got a vintage snare, or what are you into in regards to your snare drum? And yeah, what's your touring kit right now?
I have it's a 5-piece Yamaha Oak Custom.
Okay,
I've had that for a long time now.
great drums.
15 years or so. Yeah, they're solid and they project. And I think it's a 22 kick, 10-inch tom, which I use sometimes and I don't use other times. It's a 13-inch rack and a 16-inch floor tom.
Okay. What kind of heads do you got on it? What kind of heads do you play?
I just go for pinstripe, Remo pinstripes. I don't really overthink it.
It clears?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Sabian cymbals, pretty standard stuff. The one thing when it comes to gear, I just try to encourage people. I know everybody's different, but I just try to focus on getting something that's good, that's professional quality, that's not going to constantly break, and put my focus on practicing. So I think it can be really distracting for young people when we're talking about gear.
You get caught up in that.
Yeah. Just get something that's really good and doesn't break for you and sounds amazing. You know, I'll only buy new gear if I need to replace something that's broken.
Right.
Or if I really need it. The one thing I did do, though, is I went for it when it comes to a snare. Because how many times do you hit a snare in a song?
So what kind of snare do you have?
So I did some research, and I got a Ludwig Black Beauty.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice.
And that thing is, it's one of the few things that I own that gains value over time.
Yes, it does.
And it sounds better and better and better over time.
It's my favorite snare of my collection. I have a Black Beauty as well, and it's my favorite by far.
Oh, it sounds great high. You can lower it off, and it sounds amazing
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
I think it's made from a single piece of metal. I might be wrong.
No,
A
I
shell?
think you're right. I'll look into it a little further, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's got such diversity, and it sounds so good.
Kind of opened my eyes when I don't spend a lot of time thinking about gear, but that really shed a light on what a high-end piece of equipment sounds like compared to something different.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Nice. So you've taken drum lessons in the past. Now, how far did you take that? Did you end up going to school for drums? Can you kind of enlighten us a little bit on that journey?
Yeah, I think at a young age I saw a poster. I heard somebody talking about the music program at Humber College.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of had that in my sights from the beginning. I was like, I can remember in grade 9 going to my guidance counselor meeting. So what would you like to do for a career? And I was like,
Drums.
I'd like to go to Humber College and become a musician. And he was like, you sure about that? And I was like, this is it.
You were sure.
I was damn sure.
Set in stone.
Yeah. Yeah, so from my whole high school path right up to the time I auditioned for Humber, I knew that's where I wanted to be. And that's where I got to spend all day practicing every day. And it was a 3-year program, and it's primarily focused on jazz music.
Okay.
And which I was very, very interested in at that time. And my days were going to classes, learning music theory and ear training. And then the evenings were rehearsing and practicing. And I'd repeat it the next day.
Right.
And I was in my early 20s and living on my own, living away from home for the first time. I was younger than that. I was 18. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that program was very inspiring for me. And it was really great to spend 3 solid years just completely immersed in music. And there's some heavy-duty players there.
Oh, yeah.
And the head of percussion at the time was Roger Flock,
Okay.
who ran a fantastic percussion ensemble, which I was super into. It was all this experimental avant-garde stuff. Nice. So I got to play the marimba and the xylophone. I was in heaven at that time. But this is before I got into the real world where I had to figure out how to pay my bills.
Right. Yeah. Yes. There comes a time, right?
Which was a difficult time. Yeah. Trying to figure that out.
Challenging, right?
For sure. Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
And especially the theory.
Yeah.
Going to college and trying to get a certificate or a diploma in music, like
Yeah.
It's just remarkable to get through the theory of that.
Yeah, that
I
was
would
challenging
find that
for a
the
drummer.
theory would be definitely challenging.
Big time. Because if you're playing a guitar or piano, it's all right there, but it's literally theory. We're not. But there's a lot of stuff that I don't use, but the stuff that I found really valuable from that time was understanding the drum notation and the timing and the technical foundation of the rhythmic structures.
Yeah, the rhythmic structures.
And I use that transcription and that notation has been incredibly helpful for learning songs.
Yeah.
At least the way my brain is wired, because I like to see a roadmap of where I'm going.
So you'll write it down when you're learning a song, kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to have
Chart
some
it.
sort of structure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Direction.
encourage
done that
people to
before.
do that, even if it's not perfect music. You come up with your own way of doing it. If you have 4 times through this, 8 times through this, back to the beginning.
Yeah. Notes are important.
Yeah, because
You got to have a system, right?
Yeah, that was the big thing I got from that musical education is the notation and understanding of that.
Nice.
I use it every day.
Yeah.
That's
Very
great.
Yeah.
That's great. So, Andrew, with so much information out there on the web today, where and what would you say to a young, inspiring drummer to go to get their foundation down?
I know, it's overwhelming. I just recently started getting into Drumeo and everything they offer on there and looking around YouTube, and it must be overwhelming. I find it extremely overwhelming. Where do I start?
Yes.
You know, and I think it's best to take things in small pieces, right? And I think I was watching it was a double bass drum video on there by drummer Derek Roddy, heavy duty extreme metal drummer.
Metal dude, yeah.
And I was overwhelmed within the first 5 minutes. I have about 15 years of work to do here.
Yes.
So I would recommend young beginning drummers to take things in small chunks. Find a drummer that they love and study that one drummer. Could be anybody you love. Trey Cool from Green Day,
Yes.
Bill Stevenson from Descendants. Learn his sound. Learn what makes that drummer tick. Learn how to sound like that.
Yeah, every drummer has their own sound, their
Yeah.
own signature.
Yeah, just learn a song.
Yeah.
Take it from there. That's one little chunk, and every song is a series of lessons within that song. How to transition from this field to this field. How to do fills like these guys do.
Yeah, sure. So
That's what I would recommend.
Yeah.
Learn songs. Find your favorite drummers.
find your favorite drummers,
Yeah.
learn what they've done, right?
Yeah, and that'll creep into your playing, and you'll find your voice through that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
some good advice for sure. So, what do you think some of the actual foundational elements are? Name off a few that drummers should really focus and hone in on. Like rudiments might be one foundation that's very important. Give us some examples. What do you think?
First and foremost is timekeeping.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nothing is. It doesn't matter what you're doing if it's not solid and in time. It doesn't matter.
Yes,
First and foremost, that's our job, regardless of if we're playing a beat, fills, whatever.
So that's foundation number one.
But timing.
Yes,
Yeah.
timing is key.
Yeah, technique is important for a variety of reasons. Not only to execute what you're hearing in your head, but to avoid getting injured.
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
You know,
Yeah.
this instrument is physically demanding, as you know. And if you're using bad technique or if your body's positioned in a strange way, you're going to have some pain.
Yes.
And it could damage your wrists. I've been super lucky in that area.
Very lucky.
But I've known people that have got developed repetitive strain and back problems.
Especially when you're trying to do 8th or 16th notes on the hi-hat, playing some of Bill Stevenson stuff or some Ramones, you know.
Marky
Like,
Ramone, Tommy Ramone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make it look easy. But when you study it, they're very relaxed.
They are. And I
Yeah.
mean, you've got that same technique down, but it's years of practice that got you there,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And watching the Propaganda video that we all saw, you've got some of that technique in there.
I
which is
found that
amazing.
learning those Ramones songs unlocked a whole bunch of really, really important stuff. And you use it in punk rock and metal and all sorts of other stuff.
Spreads out through all the genres.
That technique you can apply to the left hand as well. And and that helped me understand how to read your body, and when you're starting to feel tension, ways of releasing that and
Releasing
moving.
it. Yes,
Moving it so your arm's not cramping up, and so you can execute these really fast
that's right.
rhythms.
I always believe that like you got to be comfortable, right? The
Yes.
more loose and more natural and
Relaxed.
relaxed that you are, the more comfortable you're going to play.
It's tough.
You're absolutely right, T. Hey, T, it's the Paradiddle Challenge time.
Are we at that time already?
Absolutely, yes.
Andrew, how you feeling about doing the Paradiddle Challenge?
Good. I'm ready. I practiced.
All right, let's rock this on and see how it goes. He's got that locked in. Let's beef this up by 20 BPM. You ready? $120. We bumped you up by 20 BPM.
Yeah.
Oh, nice and comfortable.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yes, we're going to go to 140.
140.
This is the gateway to fastness.
Yes,
140.
we're walking through the gate right now. He's got it locked.
So far, so good.
160.
Absolutely. 160.
I'm passing.
You
the
seem
test.
comfortable.
So
How
far.
do you feel?
Quite comfortable.
Perfect. Nice. We're at 160 now. Oh, yes. Like a dream.
If you're dreaming about paradiddles.
Yes, yes. If you're dreaming about
I
paradiddles.
don't normally
Okay, we're
dream
going to
about
180 now.
We're going to 180 here. You
gotta
ready
be
for this?
very dedicated if you're sleeping and practicing at the same time.
That is dedication.
Yeah.
100%. I agree. That's hilarious. Here we go. 180, Andrew.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Nicely.
How'd that feel?
I feel like I'm approaching the ceiling.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna. Do you want to go up just by 10 then, 190, or do you want to try 200?
Let's try. I'll give 190 a try.
Okay, we're gonna do 190. Perfect.
That's
you
what-
just nailed that. So smooth.
It's a paradiddle.
It is true. Yeah, okay. So 180, I think, is your
180
comfortable
it is.
mark, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, you are the new winner, the new leader
do
of
I
the
get?
Paradiddle Challenge. Woohoo! Congratulations.
All right.
Perfect. Nice.
So, Andrew, let's break down a paradiddle for educational purposes. What is the pattern? What would you say how you would go about playing a paradiddle? And for drummers and young aspiring drummers learning the rudiment, maybe you could just give a little bit of breakdown on how to play it.
Yeah, it's basically the first couple things you learn as a drummer: single stroke roll and a double stroke roll combined. So you do an alternation, and then a double, and then you lead with your opposite hand. So my philosophy on anything like that is when it comes to speed, that's just one way of attacking it. So you can add some phrasing into it, add some accents and some dynamics. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do is the famous Rudiment book, Stick Control by George Stone. Mm-hmm. It's almost 100 years old. It might even be more than 100 years old now. But that first page has some lovely paradiddle variations starting on line 5 if you guys have it and you want to take a look. What we're going to do is put a little accent on that first note of the paradiddle. Right? And then the next line, it shifts it over.
Oh, yeah.
And the next line is... And then the next line. So if you go from one to the next... Whoops. It gives you a nice little melodic phrase.
Mm-hmm, very rhythmic, yeah.
Yeah, so anytime you have those accents, you can move, say, the right-hand accents to the floor tom, left-hand accents to the high tom, and keep the other notes on the snare.
Yeah, you could apply it to the kick.
Rip that up with
That
the
is
metronome,
cool.
and
I
it gives
really
you
like
a cool
that.
feel.
Yeah.
You could also hit the cymbals with a kick drum underneath those accent notes, keep the other notes on your snare.
Oh,
So it's a nice creative way to practice the paradiddle, which can be very repetitive and monotonous, but you can apply it in a musical way.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
The second one here, I'm going to get to this quickly, is if you change the rhythm that you're playing the paradiddle on. So what we're going to do is, if we could get the metronome at 80.
Is that good?
Yep. So basically, it's relatively slow. And we're going to start out as quarter notes, which is incredibly slow to play the paradiddle. But what we're going to do is we're gradually going to increase the note values. So we're going to climb up from quarter notes to quarter note triplets to eighth notes to eighth note triplets to 16th notes and so on, but using the paradiddle sticking. So when it gets really fun is when you're in the triplets, because it's a 4-note group in a 3-note rhythm.
Right, yes.
It gives it some rhythmic tension. And this is also a fantastic thing to do to test your accuracy and your timing.
And your timing, yes. You ready?
So we'll see if I can do it now that I'm talking about it.
Here we go.
I messed up the 30 seconds there a little bit, but
that was really neat.
You get the idea. So it sounds like you're speeding up because you're pushing more notes into the same period of time, but you heard the metronome. It's all lining up with the metronome, and it gets funky when you're on the triplets.
It really does. It's neat.
Especially the 16th note triplets. It gives it a polyrhythm.
They've given us something to work on here. I like that.
Yeah, I wanted to share those because, you take anything like a basic rudiment, and it's just opening up the door.
Right. Yes, it is. Yeah, you going to try that, T?
I'm going to definitely give it a shot.
Take it home, and
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
that.
The fun, you could even just start with eighth notes and then go up to the triplet and then back to the eighth note just to test it. But you want to be locking into that quarter note. That's what's going to hold it all together.
That's what holds it all together. The glue, for sure.
Well, thank you for letting me share that.
Well, thank you for sharing.
You got a new record with Gomer.
Yes, it's coming out. I can't wait.
Right.
You want to give the people a little breakdown on what you got coming out this year, what you've been up to, what you got cooking?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited about music right now.
Amazing.
I've been at it for years, but this is one of the times I'm most excited about. I've got several projects happening in the main band. I did my first show with 1 year ago today. We opened for Forgotten Rebels at Lee's Palace.
Fun.
And that's a band called Gomer. And Gomer is made up of a group of people that have been in bands for years. Okay. So everybody's super good at what they're doing. Everyone knows how to act in a band. Everyone's a pro.
Nice.
And we've been working on these 5 songs for we started, I think, in March of last year.
Okay.
Just working on them. And we recorded them with Simon Head up in Uxbridge from the Fairmounts. Yeah. And we just got the master versions back. Sounding very good. We're very, very excited.
That's good for you.
It's a cool blend of punk rock and metal and all the cool heavy stuff that we love.
That we grew up loving and motivating us.
It's aggressive, but it's also got some cool timing, and I'm just so super excited for people to hear that.
That was such a good song. I'm excited for the record to come out.
Me too.
Can't wait. What do you think of that, T?
I'm pretty stoked to check that out.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to keep my eye and ear on the radar on that one.
It's going to be called The Rise of Gomer.
Okay, The Rise of Gomer. So cool. Well, thanks again, Andrew, for coming out today and making this day so much fun. We truly do appreciate it and only wish you the best on your drumming journey moving forward with these amazing bands you got going on now.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for inviting me out. This has been awesome.
No problem. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
And if anyone is interested in checking out more video content of Andrew playing, please check out his social media and all his links. They'll be listed in the description below.
Until next time, everybody.
Keep grooving and have fun.
And remember to hit that like and subscribe button and turn on that notification bell.
See you next time.
In paradise.
Why?